This is it. The room has been set up. The slides have been loaded. People are looking up at you with anticipation. The training is about to begin. There's just one problem. The content is super boring. If you've ever felt this way, welcome. You've come to the right place. My name is Irina. I'm a learning and development consultant with over a decade of experience. And this is the L&D Academy's channel, where we talk about anything that has to do with learning and development. And today, we'll try and figure out how to turn the most boring topic into an unforgettable learning experience. Let's dive into 5 tips on delivering engaging classroom training sessions with examples. If you stay till the end, I have something super special for you to help you take your training session to the next level. But for now, let's go back to the video. First things first, introductions. How you introduce yourself and the session matters. It sets the tone for the rest of the workshop. You can certainly go down the standard route of just announcing the topic and asking everyone to quickly introduce themselves. Usually this sounds a little something like this. Hello and welcome to Emotional Intelligence for Dummies. My name is Jane Doe, here's our agenda, and now let's get to know each other a bit better. Let's be honest, that's boring. So consider making the intro a bit more engaging. Here are a few activities that you can try. Prepare some questions related to your training, print them out on separate pieces of paper, and tape them to the bottom of the trainees' chairs, or just leave them on top of it, that's fine too. Once everyone has settled in, tell them to open up the questions and have a mixer where people talk to each other and discuss the questions on the paper. If this is too bold for you, no problem. Simply ask everyone to stand in a circle, toss a ball to a random person, and ask them to introduce themselves and explain what is it that they hope to get out of the session. Then, they toss the ball to someone else until everyone has had a chance to share. Alternatively, you can also show the training objectives and ask people to place a sticker next to the ones they find most interesting, valuable, important, urgent, whatever you decide. Encourage them to talk with each other and then discuss why they selected the ones they did. This not only lets people get to know each other in a more informal setting, but they're also plunged into the training topic from the get-go. Our second tip is to incorporate interactive activities. There is nothing worse than sitting for a long period of time and having to listen to someone, be that a trainer or even a motivational speaker. I try to use the 10-20 rule. I talk for no more than 10 minutes, and then the audience talks or practices for 20. In light of this, how can you make it interactive? Well, give them some problem-solving exercises. The best way to learn is to practice and do the work. And the training room is the perfect place to do this in a safe environment where mistakes won't have real-world consequences. Just make sure that the problems you present are relevant and something that the trainees can in fact solve with the knowledge and skills that they currently possess. Another interactive activity is roleplay. Pretending to be someone else can be a lot of fun. Combine it with the learning process and you get roleplays. Have a few situations or simulations ready. You simply give instructions to your trainees and have them practice what you've taught them. Studying Microsoft Excel? Have them interact with a coworker where they need to check some info in a super complicated sheet. Maybe you're learning new sales techniques. Have them deal with a difficult customer. You can also have a case study or two at the ready to engage your audience in a group discussion. We often learn so much from others, and this is a great way to get those meaningful conversations going. Not to mention that case studies can really help your audience engage and make them active participants in the learning process. Our next recommendation is to encourage participation and collaboration. I already mentioned how annoying it is to be just a passive observer in a training session. So it makes sense to turn your trainees not just into active participants, but also into drivers of the training content altogether. Here's some practical ideas that you can try. One of my favorite things to do is to use the present this for me approach. Sometimes the content doesn't really call for games, activities, or role plays. What do you do then? Well, embrace it. Break your group into smaller teams, have them do some research or discuss a topic, and then present back to the rest of the group. Not only do you not have to talk through the boring bit, but you're also helping them take charge of their learning process and make sense of the information. If you want to take it to the next level, instead of writing words on a flip chart, have them present the content using images or pictograms that you've cut out or printed ahead of time. This can be a lot of fun for both the presenters and the listeners. Another popular approach is brainstorming. Most adult learners attend training because they want to find a solution to a specific problem. Again, embrace this. Instead of giving them the solution, have them discover it through brainstorming and talking to others. I like to call this the collective genius. If you tap into it, not only are you making the sessions more interactive and engaging, but you may also learn a thing or two yourself. Finally, you can also utilize peer feedback. The training room should be a safe space for people to try things out and make mistakes. And if you want this experience to also be interactive, encourage the participants to share feedback with each other. This means pairing them up, giving them tasks to work through like role plays, and then sharing ideas about how they can improve in the future. My next tip is to make it visual. And no, I don't mean to have 200 PowerPoint slides. As a matter of fact, in my experience, the fewer slides you have, the better. But that's beside the point. You can also make the room more inviting and colorful. For example, I like to have a flip chart with a session agenda somewhere in the room so that people can consult it throughout the day. But I also like to make it playful. Maybe it's a road that we're following, or we're flowing down a river, or we're climbing a mountain. Another thing I like to do is to use the floor. Let's say that I'm explaining a process or a model. Instead of a slide on the wall, I will recreate it on the floor and then explain each step by physically standing on the corresponding step on the floor. And then I can even have people move around it. Maybe I could have a quiz that trainees need to answer by stepping on the correct spot in the process. Or I can ask them to physically move around the model and change their behaviors accordingly. This is a great way to keep things interactive, but also aid the learning process. My last tip is to employ effective communication techniques. Let's say that your training topic doesn't really allow for much interactivity or participation from the audience. Not all is lost though. It just means you need to step into the shoes of an entertainer, or edutainers as I like to call them. No, you don't need to turn into a motivational speaker or a stand-up comedian, but you do need to use effective communication techniques like storytelling and humor. People are naturally wired to listen to stories. Use that to your advantage. Instead of explaining how a software feature works step by step, tell a story of how this was used wrongly in the past and what the consequences were. We have a video on storytelling for training, so check out the link on the card and in the description to find out more. When it comes to humor, find opportunities in your session plan to share an anecdote, tell a funny story, or maybe even point out a self-deprecating behavior. It's a great way to shorten the perceived distance between yourself and your audience and also build trust and rapport. But do be careful though. You do need to know your audience and tailor your humor to them. How do you keep your trainees engaged? Let us know in the comments down below. Transforming a dull face-to-face training session into a lively and engaging learning adventure is well within your grasp. The key is to think about your audience first and what kind of experiences they will have. Will they be a passive receiver of information, or will they be heavily involved and in charge of their learning process? The ultimate goal of any classroom training is not to inform. People have Google for that. You want to inspire and involve your participants. So take the 5 strategies that I shared here, adapt them to your content and your style, and watch your sessions come to life with energy, enthusiasm, and most importantly, effective learning outcomes. If you want to learn how to train people but have no previous experience, check out our new course, Training for Non-Trainers. And as a thank you for reaching all the way to the end, you can use the discount code ThankYouYouTube for an exclusive 30% off. Happy training!